Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being with us as we join week 7 of the 2022 Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference weekly football press conference. I am Karen Carty, Assistant Commissioner for Strategic Communications here at the MEAC, and I'll serve as the moderator for today's meeting. Before we hear from our coaches, we will hear from Jeff Cunningham, the MEAC's Director of Strategic Communications, who will bring us some notes from the MEAC from last week. Jeff?
Thank you and good morning. The first conference game of the 2022 season is in the books, and it was a thriller. Jalen Adams found Daquan Felton from 3 yards out with 5 seconds left to give Norfolk State a 24-21 win over Morgan State to spoil the Bears' homecoming. The Bears had scored 21 unanswered points to take a 21-17 lead on a 51-yard Alfonso Graham touchdown run with 1:53 remaining. But the Spartans responded by driving down the field to clinch their first win of the season. Elsewhere, South Carolina State dropped its home opener to Florida A&M 20-14, despite 2 touchdown receptions from Shaquan Davis and 2 interceptions from B.J. Davis. This week's MEAC football slate begins Thursday night when Morgan State travels to Durham to take on North Carolina Central live on ESPN2 with a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. And be sure to check out MEAC Countdown to Kickoff presented by Coca-Cola this Saturday in advance of the Delaware State Norfolk State game live on ESPN+. Defending MEAC volleyball champion Howard handed Coppin State its first conference loss of the season this past weekend, and the Eagles are now tied atop the standings with Delaware State. The Bison and Norfolk State are just behind, tied at 3-1 in league play, while Maryland Eastern Shore won both its matches this past weekend to improve to 2-3 in conference play. The 2022-23 MEAC bowling season got underway this past weekend with 3 programs in action at the Bud Whitman Memorial. Coppin State's Logan Brown was the top individual performer, averaging more than 205 pins in traditional play as the Eagles came in 5th as a team. Delaware State and Howard were also in action at the Bud Whitman Memorial. The Delaware State men and Morgan State women won team titles at the Delaware State Farm Run this past weekend. The Hornets' Devin Smith was the men's medalist after finishing the 8,000-kilometer course in 26 minutes 59 seconds, while in the women's 5,000-kilometer race, Delaware State's Ashley Legat claimed gold with a 20-minute 11.6-second race. For more information on the MEAC and its 14 sponsored sports, as well as to learn how to join the MEAC Nation Association, please visit our official website at www.meacsports.com. You can also follow the MEAC on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and subscribe to the MEAC Digital Network on YouTube.
Thank you, Jeff. Just a reminder before we begin the question and answer portion of today's press conference, if you'd like to ask a question, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom. And when acknowledged, please state your name and the media outlet that you're representing. Let's get things started. First up with Coach Larry Scott from Howard. Good morning, Coach Scott. How are you?
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Doing well. All right, Coach, tell me some about how the open week was for you and the Bison.
It was a good week. We really took some time to really delve into the things that we needed to do better and had developed a really good plan of attack for those things and felt like we really did get better. We needed to tackle better, and we made tackling a team thing, not just a defensive thing. So we had everybody go through our tackling circuits and really work hard on making that something that if we do better as a football team will help make us better. And then we just attack some of our other things, technique and fundamental wise that we need to, some special team stuff we need to really get some work at. So, and had guys spend some time academically, doing some really good check-ins academically with counselors and those type of things. So kind of circle the wagons holistically on the program, which was a good pause for us as we get ready to go on this 6-week stretch. So we're excited and healed up and rested up and ready to go.
All right, Coach, really good to hear that. What can we expect from the Bison this week against Harvard?
Well, I'll tell you what, you better be a very disciplined, tough team. This is a really well-coached football team, very complex and show a lot of different things in their schemes, both offensively and defensively. They're going to be where they're supposed to be. They do it exactly how they're coached to do. You don't look at tape and see where guys miss a whole lot of tackles and miss being in the gap when they need to be in a gap, or not run a right route and those type of things. So you're gonna have to bring your best football when you play this game, play this group. Like I said, really well coached, really orchestrated, put together, really good football team. So we're gonna have to play our best football this week, and the guys are up for the challenge. Understand that, and that's been our mental approach and mindset. In these last week and a half of our preparation. So, and then all this week. So we'll be ready to go play our best football this weekend.
Awesome, Coach. Those are my 2 questions for you. We'll now turn to the media, beginning with Nate Henry Jr. You're muted, Nate.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How we doing?
Great. Nate Henry, Howard University Sports Information Media Group. I just have 2 questions. What can we expect? I'm sorry. What is it like to finally play at home in Washington, D.C. after 5 games on the road?
Well, we're really looking forward to playing in Green Stadium. I'll be blunt about it. We're playing at home on campus so our students and everybody can be engaged and continue to work what game day is supposed to be like on campus here at Howard. However, it's good for us to not have to get on a bus or a plane and travel multiple hours to get to the destination where we're playing, and to kind of settle in our own team hotel and kind of settle into what that routine is. It's a little odd, not settling into that routine until midway through the season almost. But we're excited about that to be able to play in Washington, D.C. In a game like this against the opponent that we are. So excited about that.
Awesome. I may have asked you this question in the past, but I'm going to ask again. This is another chance for Howard to play an Ivy League opponent and represent the university's HBCUs. Talk about the significance of that.
Oh, I think it's big because it comes down, to branding and making sure that at the end of the day that we're viewed and seen in the same light as some of those universities, especially with the academic profile that we fit and the academic profile that the Yale and Harvards of the world fit. I mean, at the end of the day, not only did we play 2 Ivy League schools, we probably played 2 of the best Ivy League schools in the country in that division. So, but it's when you want to be part of the elite, when you want to be great and do those things, you always want to be a part of doing competing against the best. And right now, those 2 schools are the best that league has to offer, and so it gives us a chance to square up with those guys, put what we are and who we are right now, where we sit today, with where they are, and put it all out on the field, and and kind of go at it and see what happens.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Stephen Gaither.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning. How we doing?
Doing well. Yeah, just a little bit more about that. So Harvard's 3-1. Seem to have a pretty solid team this year. What do you see about them on film as you guys are looking to prepare and get ready for the challenge this week?
I'd say a lot of it. They're a tough football team. That physical. They fly around. They play really, really hard, run to the ball. They do all of those type of things and execute well on offense. I think the big challenge for us is just the complexity in some of their schemes with what they do offensively and defensively. Which makes you have to do some different things as far as making sure that you're sound to everything that they're doing. But at the end of the day, it still comes down to blocking, tackling, strain, run to the football, playing football as hard as you can for as long as you can. So we'll get the mental part of it down and being able to make sure we're sound in what we're doing in our approach towards defending them and obviously playing football on the offensive side of the ball and especially the special teams game. So it's one of those games where you better bring your complete game, offense, defense, and your kicking game to make sure that you're always putting yourself in position to win the game because they're going to. So that, with the big thing is the challenge is going to be, schematically and just in matching their intensity and how they play the football, their style of play. So which is a really good challenge for us, a big challenge for us, and it's one that we're up for. So let's put it down and let's go play.
And I know you, and lastly, I know you talked about tackling and everybody was having to do the tackling drill. So was everybody tackling everyone? Like, can you expound on that a little bit just so I have a clear picture?
No, it's just the technique and fundamentals behind tackling. You put it into tackling circuit type deals of, of understanding angles and understanding hat and hand placement, and running your feet and doing those type of things. So it's all simulated tackling within a tackling circuit where everybody gets a chance to get involved in the technique and fundamentals of proper tackling. And do it in a way that's, safe for everybody on your football team, because those are things you have to do. You have to, there's not a lot of times in practice that you can full tackle to the ground. So you have to do the best that you can to bring those tackles to life through circuit style training and those type of things. So, but to make it just, to drive home the point that it's just not a defensive thing with us. Tackling is a team thing, because if we tackle really well, it gives a team a chance to win. So just to get over the hump, and drive that home, that that is a thing that we all have to be involved in and a part of and understand the importance of.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Dr. Cavill.
Yes, this is Kenyatta Cavill with Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach, good morning. How's it going?
Good morning, Doc. How we doing?
Doing well. I imagine you're ready back into it. Want to talk about your defense specifically against the quarterback for Harvard in terms of Charlie Dean, I believe it is, 6'1" guy, 210 pounds, completing just under 52% of his passes. What are you seeing schematically in terms of what you want to do to make him not play as well as he maybe played in some of the games that they've won?
Well, I think what you do is you have to, you have to change the looks on this guy. You have to be able to do different things. You may have to pressure him on some downs and some early downs in sequence where you haven't. One thing these guys are going to do, they're going to do a really good job of scheming you and studying your tape and quality control and everything that you've done and what you do and those type of things. So you have to do a really good job in making sure you mix your looks, mix your coverages, mix your pressures, and give this guy different variations and different looks and different things. You can't just, stand back there and play the same static look all the time. This type of guy in this system will kind of pick you apart a little bit. So being able to do honestly what you can do, you don't want to, out trick yourself or put yourself into a position where guys you can't adjust to different looks and different things that they're giving you. But you do have to give this guy an array of looks on different, downs and situations to kind of change the math for him a little bit.
As an academician, you over there at Howard, when you talk about coming off the break, and we have midterms coming up, obviously in a couple of weeks there, the schematic things that you want to do, having this many games under your belt after a break, does that help in terms of putting more in the tool belt of your team, whether it's offensively or defensively, or is that just something that naturally comes over the season?
No, I think what you do is you draw back. What you do is do a really good job of your off-season meetings, of your installations and those type of things, and then things that you did in spring. That's what spring ball is all about. Spring is all about installing your entire system, and then being able to go back and draw and pick from things that guys have actually done before and rep before, pull old tape, pull old film, and bring it all back as to what you want to do and why you're doing it. That's the biggest thing. You want to make the connection as to why. So, Coach, why are we dusting this off this week? Why are we doing this? Well, here's some of the things that they do that present challenges to us as to why we need to do that. So really, you just draw back upon some of the things that are just already in the system. You're not inventing anything or adding anything to something that you aren't. These are things that we've worked before and looked at before in spring ball and in training camp and those type of things. So you just draw back upon those things and pull them back out and get back to repping them and doing those things and bring them back to life for this game.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Foreman.
Good morning, Coach Scott Skip Foreman with HBCU Game Day.
Good morning, Skip. How we doing?
Doing fine, sir. In as much as your football program has faced two Ivy League schools or is facing a second Ivy League school, what about the image of Howard itself and the fact that you're facing Ivy League schools? What are you presenting to those teams and to those schools at large in your estimation?
At the end of the day, I think it's all about pride, right? We want to make sure we're representing Howard University, our brand, who we are, our style of football at its best each and every week, no matter who we're playing. It could be an Ivy League school, it could be a Power 5 school, it could be a G5 school, it could be a MEAC SWAC. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's about putting our brand on the field and being the very best of who we are each and every time we get a chance to. The image out right to the outside world of what that is and what that looks like speaks more volume, and speaks more to it than what it is on our day-by-day process and approach towards what we're doing. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who that is, what team it is on the other side that we play. It's just, it's another team on our schedule. It's another kind of a hurdle standing in the way of us reaching the goals of what we really want to do. And then understanding the process of getting to that. And so in our process and in our walk as we approach conference play, this is just another team that's in the way. It just so happened their name is Harvard. And we're Howard, and the eliteness of, the two academic institutions coming together and playing these games is one that's kind of bigger for, everyone else who's around it and watching. But for us, it's the same process. Now, the kids understand the magnitude and and what that means and what that says for, the pride of our university and who that is and what that's all about, because you don't want them to miss that moment either. However, it's still to keep them, focused, to keep them, centered around what we're trying to accomplish in our goals. You still make it about them just being the next opponent, period.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Coach Scott, those are all the questions for you this morning. Thank you for your time and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you. Appreciate it. See you guys next week.
Take care. The Bison take on Harvard in the Truth and Service Classic this Saturday at Audi Field in Washington, D.C. Kickoff is set for 4 p.m. and the game will be live on ESPN3. Up next, we'll talk to North Carolina Central head coach Trey Oliver. Good morning, Coach Oliver. How are you?
I'm well, Karen. How are you doing this morning?
Doing well. All right, Coach, what was the main focus of your open week?
Technique and fundamentals. Just get away for a minute, clear your mind. We wanted the guys to get 1 or 2 days off just to get away from football for a second, because it's been going on since June. So they're well rested. I thought we had a great practice yesterday. Spirit of the guys were flying around. So they were excited to get away, but I was excited to see them get, back on the field.
Awesome. What can we expect from the Eagles against Morgan State on Thursday?
It's going to be a tough game. And Coach Wilson is an outstanding coach, and it's good to see us get another great coach in the conference. But these guys, Morgan plays extremely hard. Defensively up front, I think they are very stout, and our offensive line's got to come to play this week. And then offensively, they do a good job taking care of the football and protecting football and controlling the game. But they have a former coach, Coach Ware, on the staff up there, so he's really familiar with what we do here. So we really got to do what we do well.
All right, Coach, I will turn it over to the media for some questions, beginning with Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Oliver. How's it going?
Well. How you doing this morning, Doc?
Man, I'm doing well. Excited. I'm in the lab and ready to go. I wanted to ask you about the defensive side of the ball, but in terms of Alfonso Graham has been pretty effective this year overall, at least to this point for Morgan State, senior 5'9", 195-pound guy. He's had a big game last week, 200 yards, but pretty much had 542 yards. So I'm sure film you've seen. Are there things that you want to do in terms of attacking him particularly, or is it, again, just you doing what you do on your defense, being sound and attacking the ball wherever it may be?
No, he's going to get our undivided attention. He is a very good football player, probably one of the best running backs in the conference. He's great inside the tackles with his vision, his balance, and his physicality. And then on the perimeter, he can fly. So, I was on some guys yesterday at practice, peeking in gaps and things of that nature. You just have to do your job and be where you're supposed to be. And don't worry about anybody else's assignment. If I'm supposed to be on the edge, stay on the edge, because he can act like he's going to hit up inside and then bounce it. And as you saw last week, 200 yards later, he's going to cause people problems. So, he's going to definitely have our undivided attention. But then they do have some other playmakers out there on the edge. I thought that the receiver number 10, the Crawley kid, I thought he was really good. And number 1, the taller kid, I'm sorry, I can't call his name, but they have some players out there, man. But number 2, as that running back goes, they go.
Great point. Getting back to your team and your side of the ball on offense, are there some things that you see in the film that you particularly want to get done this game, or is it going back to generally what you've been successful for the most part of the first quarter of the season?
I mean, we have to do what we do. And like I said, going into the bye week, we weren't going to change our offense up, and all that stuff. We're going to do what we do. And it starts with the run game. We've got to be able to run the ball. Okay. And they have a very good front seven. Their D-line is good, and they have two really good linebackers, 54 and 40. But, we're going to do what we do. We're going to run the football, and then when they put that seventh guy in the box, we're going to go up top. So we got to get the ball to our playmakers. And unlike the last week, we didn't make plays on the perimeter. So we have to catch the balls, when they come to us. But we're going to have to play well offensively, man, because they have a very good defense.
Look forward to the Thursday night game under the lights.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Foreman?
Morning, Coach Oliver. Skip Foreman, HBCU. Game day?
Yes, Skip. How you doing today?
Doing fine, sir. With the rest and recuperation period thrown in, as well as the practices, is there any reflection involved in what's gone, what's already happened? Do you try to fine tune based on what you've done, or do you just look at what's ahead and make sure you're sound going forward?
Well, we know we played some decent football early, but we're not looking back on that. It's all about improving every week. And we talk about there's a reason why the windshield is bigger than your rearview mirror. You got to focus on what's ahead of you, not what's behind you. So there's some things that we knew we let get away from us in the Campbell game that we worked to get corrected. And, we knew we had to improve across the board with our technique and fundamentals, from our punter to the quarterback play to our DB play, running back. So it's a whole lot we had to work on, and we looking for to get better and improve, weekly.
And as you look ahead, it's a Thursday night game. It's not necessarily a short week because you did have an open week prior, but do your preparations speed up in any way, or did the off week give you a chance to do this at a normal pace so you don't have to feel rushed or pressured to get a game plan in?
Right. Well, we had a plan coming in, so our days leading up to it were going to be the same. So yesterday, although it was Sunday, that was our traditional Tuesday practice. And today will be our traditional Wednesday practice for a Saturday game. Tomorrow will be lighter, and then Wednesday will just be a walkthrough. So going up, the days leading up to the game, we treated them the same, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Coach. That looks like all the questions we have for you today. Good luck this week, and we'll see you next week.
All right, Karen. Thank you. I'm going to keep my jokes to myself.
See you, Coach. The Eagles host Morgan State at 7:30 p.m. on Thursday. You can watch the game live on ESPN2. Up next, we have Coach Milstead from Delaware State University. Good morning, Coach Milstead. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. I see you're driving. Be safe.
Well, I'm not driving. I'm not driving anymore.
Okay. Okay, good. Tell us about your open week, Coach. How was it for you?
Oh, it was heaven sent. We needed that. Yeah, we needed some time to regroup and to reflect and to really evaluate the first half of our season. Some things that we had to get corrected, and also get a chance to get some guys healed. Important for us, and I think the most important thing was to make sure that our second and third tier guys are caught up and understand what the expectation is for the MEAC play. Every coach on here knows MEAC play is a little bit different than playing outside the conference, and every team is pretty much evenly yoked, so to speak. And it's going to take the little small things that you do well that's going to help you win football games. So we did those things, and we feel pretty good coming off the bye.
Awesome. You mentioned opening conference play. You play Norfolk State this week. What can we expect from the Hornets?
Well, the biggest thing is we want to be consistent. That's the one thing that we focused on in the bye week is being more consistent. Consistent on offense. Defense has played well. There are still some things that they can do better. But offense, we show spurts of greatness at times, and then sometimes look like we've never seen a football before. So we want to be more consistent, and we felt that this bye week we were able to address the small things to help us get more consistency from our offense.
Awesome, Coach. Those are my questions for you. We'll now begin with Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta with Dr. Ville's Inside HBC Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Milstead.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. I wanted to first ask you a little bit about that consistency. Obviously, that's something that you want to do with life in a lot of ways, but particularly with a football team. How do you coach consistency, or how do you manage the role of people being able to be repetitive in a positive way to get things done?
Well, that's how you become great. It's being able to do the same thing at a high level, okay, each and every time you're called to do that. And so for me, we would have guys, we would have 11 guys on the field, 10 guys doing the right way, one guy doing it his way. And so we did a lot of drills last week of a lot of team building, teamwork, consistency, guys counting on each other to do their job. And that's what it boiled down to. So I really think that the things that we did really helped us to understand or get a better understanding as players of what it takes to actually play championship football. So it was good this morning. We practiced already because I really wanted to see if the things that we did in the bye week would carry over. And we probably have one of our better Mondays, if not our best Monday this morning. So excited to see that everything we did was not in vain.
Good to hear. As you alluded to, it's time to get into conference play when everything ratchets up because you're seeking a championship like everybody else. Wanted to ask in regards to Norfolk State. Last week, even though you had an open week, people started alluding into it, and you talked about, although they 0-5 at that time, that they were still going to play hard with Coach Odom. And lo and behold, they go on the road and get a victory over a team that was playing pretty solid in themselves, Norfolk State, for their homecoming. I wanted to talk about their ability to throw the ball. What do you see in terms of your defense? Obviously very strong up front, but now oftentimes that can help or hinder, depending on how good you are with your defensive back, especially that back four. What do you see in that matchup that you want to make sure that your team is understanding they have to get this done, put the team in a position to be successful?
Well, the biggest thing is we got to get to their quarterback, okay? They can't throw the ball if the quarterback can't pass it. So, we feel like we're pretty strong up front. And so we have to do what we've done thus far is to continue to reach the quarterback, be very stingy on the run, and dare teams to throw. We feel pretty confident in those guys. Yeah, they've had some ups and downs, but that's what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about consistency as well. Okay, making sure that communication is on point to where those big plays don't happen. But we knew, or I knew, that it was any time that Norfolk was going to get a win. You look at their coach and how he structures his team. They're a split image of the coach. So that's what they do. It was exciting for them, of course, but we have to make sure that we do what we need to do in terms of taking care of the football, playing 4 quarters of consistent football, something that we've shown spurts of. We have to be more consistent, especially going into a hostile crowd at Norfolk's homecoming.
Great point. Looking forward to the matchup. Good luck this weekend, Coach Milstead.
Thank you.
James Hill.
Good morning, Coach. I hope you and all the gentlemen are well at Delaware State University. Can you talk a little bit about the health of your football team and having an opportunity for guys to just get a week out, if you will? Just talk a little bit about the bye week and the health.
Well, the bye week helped us out. We had some guys that were beat up and banged up, and just that week alone really helped our guys to get more treatment, to really focus in on the things body-wise, the physical parts, so that we can have all our weapons going into the MEAC run. And we get everybody back this week, which I'm excited about. Everyone practiced this morning, so that was a good deal. And to see some guys that haven't been out there in a while running around and doing some things today was really, really good. So the bye week, it couldn't come at a better time for us. We needed it, and we made the most of the opportunity.
Coach, you alluded to it, hostile environment. You're going to go into the home of the Spartans, homecoming. The fans are right on top of you. Just talk about going in. And again, it's an opportunity to get one as you open up conference play.
Well, it's with only playing 5 conference games, only 6 teams in the conference that play football, every game is that game. It's critical. It's crucial to the advancement of your program. And we know this, okay? We absolutely know this. I remember last year Norfolk came into our place and they were riding real high. And I don't think anybody on this side of the Mississippi had picked us to win. And we were able to, after being down, I think 26 points going into halftime. Trust me, I didn't know what I was.
Coach, are you there?
Who their coach is. Yes, I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Did you
We
lose
lost
me?
you for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, they're a reflection of their coach, and they're going to be ready to play. They just got that first one. They got the monkey off their back, and I know they're going to be ready to play. We have to be able to be ready to play and match that intensity at their place.
Hey, Coach, talk a little bit about HBCU football and people who may sleep, so to speak, on the MEAC. In the MEAC, every Saturday, you got to be ready to play. Can you just share your thoughts on the MEAC conference play?
I look at it this way. Every time there's a MEAC to MEAC football game, that's your celebration bowl. It is. Losing one could keep you out, period. Okay? Losing 2, it's a great possibility you don't have a shot at all. So just like South Carolina State did last year, they came in and their first half of the year probably wasn't what they looked for, but their second half of the season, they won out in the MEAC, and then they got an opportunity to represent the conference in one of the biggest games of the year. So, everyone is fighting for that opportunity right now. And right now, Norfolk has the only victory in conference play. They're sitting top number 1 in the MEAC right now. And Coach Odom alluded to that last week. He said whoever wins this game is going to be top of the MEAC, and he was 1,000% correct. So we know that it's going to be a challenge for us, but we will be prepared to go to Norfolk and play. Hey, we had a week off last week, and like I said, we're anxious to get back on the gridiron.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Thank you.
All right, Coach Milstead, those are all the questions for you this morning. Have a good week and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Take care. The Hornets travel to Norfolk, Virginia to take on Norfolk State at 2 p.m. on Saturday. The game will be seen live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. Up next, we have Norfolk State head coach Dawson Odoms. Good morning, Coach Odoms. How are you?
Oh, good morning. How you doing?
Doing well today. Can you start us off with an opening statement about Saturday's game against Morgan State?
Well, good environment, a good homecoming crowd. We knew Coach Wilson was going to have his team ready to play, and they're a good football team. And I thought conference play was beginning. We struggled the first 5 games, offensively, defensively, special teams, and we found a way to make some plays. And I think that's what it comes down to. We have some guys that's capable of making plays offensively. Just to see them get in the end zone and put up some points was promising. We struggled in that department defensively, limiting big plays. We struggled in that department, but God's an on-time God. And I tell our guys that no matter what, That's just what I believe. We don't deviate from the process. Our goal every week is to go 1-0, and our guys have played hard all year, and they played hard on Saturday. And it's unfortunate that somebody had to lose that football game because it was a competitive game, a hard-fought game, and we made enough plays in the end to give ourselves a chance. We drove the ball down there. Quarterback gets knocked out. He stumbles a little bit. He was okay. Wasn't a concussion or anything, but he had something in his eye. So it's 9 seconds to go in the game, and we got to bring the backup in. And he's cool and calm. He throws the winning touchdown pass to Daquan Felton. And our guys deserve to celebrate. Anytime you struggle the way we did in the beginning, you should always celebrate winning. And I was happy for our coaches, our players, and our program because we know it's been a struggle, but we understand that any week you can turn around, and we never stop believing that. And we're very fortunate to come out of Baltimore with a win.
Congratulations again there, Coach. What can we expect from the Spartans this week against Delaware State?
Well, anytime you're getting ready for a team that's coming off a bye, I think you know it's going to be some things that are unexpected, but we're going to play hard. It's our homecoming, and our goal is to go 1-0, and we're going to get our guys coached up and get them ready for this hard-fought battle. It's MEAC play, and every week you're going to have to grind yourself because any given Saturday, if you don't play well, you don't execute well, you can find yourself in the loss column. So we're getting our guys prepared. We're working hard, coaching them hard, teaching them and loving and caring about them, and just trying to make sure we get them in the right position to be successful.
Awesome, Coach. Those are the questions I have for you. We'll now turn to the media, beginning with Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill with Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Odom. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you. Good morning, Dr. Cavill.
Want to ask you a little bit about Daquan Felton that had that big touchdown, obviously thrown by the backup quarterback, sophomore, 6'4", 204 pounds, with that touchdown 3 on the season. What makes him solid or special like he is?
Well, I think the combination of size, speed, strength. He has an unbelievable work ethic. He comes to practice every day. He has the right attitude. And it's hard to do that. I tell people all the time this, you look at coaches and you look at players, and it's hard to know who's the next coach you need to hire. I always say, look at these guys who's overcoming adversity and how their teams play, because it's easy to get down when you're not winning. But to stay up and keep coming to work every day, you got to have players like Daquan Felton on your team. He's a leader for us. He does it vocally, but he does it through his work ethic. And I couldn't be more proud of a player that he's one of our better players. And I believe when the game's on the line, your better players got to make plays. And we were fortunate that he made one for us.
Second question I have is going up against Delaware State. Pretty solid on the defensive side of the ball, but you were effective offensively, able to put up 290 plus yards with the pass. Is that something that you want to see your team continue to do, or was that just a function of the game it was? And are you wanting to have more balance? Or you want to run the ball? Or what are the things that you want to look to get done in this game to come out victorious?
Well, I just think on offense, you have to take what the defense gives you. I think every play, a defense is trying to take something away. You do know this is an odd number sport. So when it's an odd number sport, it's kind of hard for the field to be balanced. It's a number system. It's the same way in the running game. If they load the box, then you got to be able to throw the football. If they give you the box, you got to be able to run the football. And it's just a cat and mouse game. And it comes down to executing. And if you do that, then you got a chance to be successful. If you don't do that, it's going to be a long day.
Great point. Thanks, Coach Odom.
Thank you.
Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Always. Thank you.
James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and the gentleman at Norfolk State University are well. Talk a little bit about Saturday. It's a memory, it's an impact. Mr. Adams and Mr. Felton, and how that fits in the history. And you guys move forward, and that's a special thing to remember.
It's always great. I think it's great for you to have some success through all the adversity that you face. It's exciting. It's an exciting time for our program. Anytime you win, like I alluded to earlier, it's always great. And just to see these young men continue to fight. I tell people, we've been through a lot, and we're still going through a lot. It's not nowhere near where I think this program could be, but we're chopping wood and carrying water. And we believe that one day we can get there. And that's just what we do. That's just my belief in the process. We go stay the course. We're a young football team, but young guys get older. We playing true freshmen everywhere, and they got to make plays. And I believe that if you believe in them and you give them some reps, they'll get better. It's a reason you recruited them. And you can turn the TV on. You can look at any team in the country. Everybody playing true freshmen. So it's all about coaching them and teaching them. And I really believe that if you can do that and get your guys to play hard, you give yourself a chance on Saturdays.
Coach Odoms, Saturday is an opportunity for homecoming at Price Stadium in front of the fans and Spartans Nation. Talk a little bit about the game and playing in the trenches and from scrimmage, the collisions and just lining up and the impact and competing at a high level on every play.
Well, that's why I think these teams that are rested, anytime you're coming off a bye week, you usually get some guys healthy and you get some guys back. And we don't know who was out before is coming back. So once you get to the game, you begin to see who's going to be out there. But, it's something about being fresh, especially going down the stretch. And a lot of us need that bye week, and everybody waiting on it. But until you can get it, you got to be resilient. You got to block out the noise, and you got to block out the pain. And you got to get into the trenches, and you got to line up, and you got to battle, and you got to fight and will yourself to victory. And until you can get to your bye week, I talked to Coach Wilson. It's tough. You play on Saturday and got to turn around and play on Thursday when you playing against a team coming off a bye. That's good thing we're not doing that, but we are playing a team that's coming off of a bye, and we know it'll be some things that we need to expect that we probably didn't see on film, but that goes with the territory. Our guys got to play with great discipline and great understanding. If they do that, we like our chances.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Darryl Duvall.
Hey, Coach. This is Darryl Duvall from Power U Media. I just want to say congratulations on your win. You deserved it. And I just have one question. I also want to say congratulations on actually using freshmen. Starting playing games, because it gives them an opportunity to learn the game, even though they're making mistakes. But it's all about learning how to play. And so the question I want to ask is, what was the locker room said after that win?
Well, I went into them and I always try to speak to them in a monotone that's deserving of the moment. And it changed. And I believe that's a gift. I believe that's understanding. And just really in a humbling way told those guys how proud I was of them. Because to win a game like that, that's not a sign of a team that was 0-5. When you lose a lead with less than 2 minutes to go in a football game, you're supposed to not fight. You're supposed to give in. You're supposed to give up. But like I tell these guys, the difference in a locker room and being on the team is unlike the people in life that are around you. A lot of people that are around you may have given up on you, but team sports create some kind of spirit about it that allow you to overcome, because if the people in the locker room believe, it doesn't matter what the people outside believe. And to watch those guys hold their head up on the sideline and have belief that the offense was go down the field and score a winning touchdown, that's just something created by culture and belief. And we're grateful for that, because most teams that have that kind of record are not able to do that. And we were fortunate that they made plays, and they made plays at the right time. And that tells you a lot about the individuals that make up our locker room. That tell you a lot about the individuals that's on this coaching staff.
Well, again, I just want to say congratulations on your first win in MEAC conference, and like you said, the other coach at Delaware State said, "Hey, it's one game, and you start all over again." And unfortunately, y'all will be playing them next weekend, and somebody's gonna win and somebody's gonna lose. And it's all about how you capitalize on that win. Thank you.
Yeah.
Luke Williams.
Hi, Coach. Luke Williams from the Black College Sports Page. How are you?
Doing great. How you doing, Mr. Williams?
Doing fine. Otto Coons, talk about how you got him and how you think he's played so far.
Well, I don't think he's played bad. I thought he played his best game. You realize a couple of weeks we played without him, and that's not because of talent. It's an expectation that we have in our program that guys got to chop wood and carry water. You got to follow the process, and we believe that process will lead you to not only a better player but a better person. And to watch him have to sit and watch Jalen Adams. But I didn't just watch him sit. I watch him be encouraging. I watch him grow into the person that we know he can become. And that's important at quarterback. We know he got talent. We think we got two quarterbacks that can help us win football games. But to watch him command the offense and execute, and he didn't play his best. It was still some plays out there that we didn't make. But that's a bright future for us, because we know we got a special talent in that room. And if we can continue to just do the necessary things to put people around him and that can make plays, and he just get better and better at making the right decisions, we believe that we can be a very dominant offense. And we're going to continue to grow and believe, but we're going to have to execute, because when we play against a really good defensive team, Coach Kramer's done an outstanding job as defensive coordinator, and they gave us a fit last year. So we're going to have to play well, because we're going to take on a well-coached football team, and they're hungry, and everybody know it's one game at a time. So we got to be ready to play. But if our quarterback plays good, we like our chances.
So he wasn't, you said he didn't get a concussion, so he should be ready this week.
Oh, yeah. He's fine. He don't have any concussions or anything. And, and with concussion protocols and everything, you can rest assured that they examine him, after what happened to that debacle in the NFL. So you can rest assured that doctors are making sure that these guys are all right. He got hit, and some stuff was in his eye. And then he came back in. Had we not thrown the touchdown play, he probably would have been back in on the next play. So we're fortunate and we're grateful, but he is a special talent.
And the last thing, Coach, this is about a player on another team that you faced this week. For those who don't know, how dynamic is Alfonso Graham?
Well, he's a senior. I don't think nobody is going to be upset that he's graduating. He's very special, and I talked to Coach about him. And not only is he a good player, man, he's also a good person. And I just want to make sure I say that, because from what I'm hearing from his coach is that he's not only just a good player, he's also a great person. And that says a lot about individuals. And sometimes we don't know that about some of the people that are playing in the MEAC, but I think it's up to us as coaches to what we want to put out as it relates to our product. And I have no problem with saying that he's a fantastic football player and even a better person than he's as advertised. And
next level, Coach?
I think he has next level speed, that's for sure, because we couldn't catch him.
Okay, Coach. Congratulations on the win. Good luck Saturday.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Julia Haskins.
Hey, Coach. Just one question for you. Just in terms of timing, how critical was this win with another MEAC matchup this weekend homecoming, and then you said, playing so many true freshmen. What does it do for their confidence?
Miss Hanson does well for them. Good thing you mentioned timing, because I just believe that sometimes life is a delay. We want things so much for ourselves, but sometimes your better blessings come in your delay. And we done had some delays, and I guess the first 5 games was a delay in order for us to taste victory. But anytime you can open up your conference season with a win, that's special, and that's something that we're all shooting for, because I think Coach Milstead alluded to it earlier, man. You lose one game and it's an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle. And with us only having 5 games, it's not a lot of wiggle room. So you got to play well, and each week you got to be trying to get better. And as long as you do those things, the opportunity for success is right around the corner.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Coach Odoms, thank you for your time today, and good luck this weekend.
Always a pleasure. Thank you. Behold, the green and gold.
Norfolk State hosts Delaware State on Saturday for the Spartans' homecoming. Kickoff is set for 2 p.m., and the game will air live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. Up next, we welcome head coach from South Carolina State, Coach Buddy Pugh. Good morning, Coach Pugh. How are you doing?
I dropped my mouse. I couldn't. Let's see. Yeah, I think I got it.
Hey, Coach.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Not good, but I'm all right. I'm here. I'm still coaching football, so that gives me a chance.
There you go.
Yes, man.
There you go. Tell us a little bit about FAMU this weekend, Coach.
Yeah, we played FAMU down here, and they came down here and beat us up pretty good. It's a good football game, though, and we ended up getting beat 20-14, and they came in and got a good start on us and got up on us 17 nothing at the half. And we got in at the halftime and kind of got a chance to regroup a little bit, and came out second half, and they actually scored again to go up 20 nothing. And we got a turnover and got a score, and got another turnover and got a score. Both turnovers by B.J. Davis, one of our inside linebackers. And we ended up having the football with, I guess, maybe a little over a minute and something to go with the ball in our territory, and ended up turning the football over on down. That was the most disappointing ending of any game I've been in a long time. Haven't gotten back into it and gotten ourselves to the point where we were, just an eyelash away from being, back in the driver's seat in the game. We weren't able to complete the task that way. So we ended up getting beaten 20-14, and at that point, we ended up having to move on to another week. But it was an exciting football game for the fans. A lot of them missed because we didn't do much for the first 3 quarters, and then we got going a little bit in the 4th quarter and got our offense to going to a point where we started moving the football a little bit. But it was a good football game, and now we look forward. We got homecoming this week. We play Virginia Lynchburg for homecoming, and I'm here now trying to figure them out a little bit. And of course, as always, we expect a big crowd and all that kind of stuff. So we're looking forward to them coming in here this coming Saturday at 1:30.
Awesome, Coach. Let's turn it over to the media for questions, beginning with Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta with Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBC Sports Lab. I would ask you how you're doing, but you already expressed that, and I certainly can understand why.
I'm doing all right. I mean, you know what? I get a chance to do what I do, and regardless how bad things, how good things, however things went on Saturday, I'm going to be pretty much the same guy on Monday. So thanks, Doc. I'm good.
No doubt about it. That has always been the case, and I appreciate that for you.
Yep.
I want to ask you a little bit about the health of your team. Contrail Flowers and just some other guys. How are they coming along? I know he's kind of been slow, and he's a big part of your game offensively.
Yeah, well, what's really hurt them is the fact that we haven't been able to find enough space for him.
Okay.
He hadn't actually had the availability of yardage that I think we probably think that he ought to have. And FAMU stopped us from being a run game. Stopped our run game. They shut us down. I think we had maybe 20 some odd yards on maybe like 20 some. I think we had 40 some yards on 20 some carries. So we had less than 3 yards a carry, and that's not good. So we got to figure this run game part out. But yeah, we think that he's a pretty good running back. We just haven't been able to see him to get him off.
What do you believe you were able to do in that fourth quarter that allowed you to put the points and make it a game? You had the ball for the chance, and then obviously got a late turnover before it was over.
We actually drove the football from our maybe inside our 10-yard line into their positive territory. We were down somewhere around the 25, 30-yard line when we fizzled out at that point. But we were able to mix in most of the throw game. We still didn't really run the football effectively, but we got turnovers to get us back in the game. We got one turnover in our positive territory. Then we got one right around midfield that gave us a chance to make some big plays. After we got the first turnover, we drove the football and scored. After we got the second turnover, we hit them for a big play. And had a big play in the last series, didn't quite make the play, but at the same time, we had a shot at it. And, at that point, we ended up, coming up on the short end.
Last question I have for you, Coach. You have Virginia Lynchburg that's struggled a bit this year, but they've been playing up in terms of competition. What do you want to see or get done in that game that will put you in a position for the rest of the conference race?
Well, we need to win a game, Doc. We've been a while. It's been a while. And we need to really start to build some consistency. We need to be run the football some, but at this point right now, we need some confidence. And the fact that we've gotten, ourselves into a pretty deep hole is, a pretty good size issue. So we're working now to try to see if we can figure out some of the things that we can do.
Got it. Thank you for that, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much for being here.
James Hill.
Coach, I hope you and the gentlemen are well. Corey Fields, 17 and 48, 237, 2 TDs and 3 picks. Talk a little bit about Fields and Davis. That's that two-headed South Carolina State University monster.
Yeah, both guys have their moments. And, the best part about it is the fact that, that they've got all this ability. We don't quite seem to be able to get the percentage numbers, though, that we'd like to have. We don't think we're working at a high enough level with them, too. We're having some missed throws. We're having some inaccuracies. We're having some drops. We're having, we're having some difference in opinion on where we ought to be depth-wise and some other kinds. So we got some issues trying to get them on the same page in a consistent manner. It's been a little bit of a strange kind of circumstance with these guys being, probably, I guess maybe experienced to a certain degree in a way where they should be a little bit further along, but we're working at it. And, we're hoping that we can make this thing happen here pretty quick by the time we get into our conference games.
Coach, it's homecoming week. You get an opportunity to play at home in front of your fans and faithful. And also, you look at Lynchburg coming in, and they're looking at you guys. Everything you guys have, that's some of the things they want, the success. But can you just talk about defending what's yours, playing at home, and again, another opportunity to go out and compete?
Yeah, Doc, it's pretty simple, I think, and in our regard, we need to start building on and start creating some momentum for the conference. It's an opportunity for us to get going, in a way that we can start our conference. We've got Central coming in the week afterwards. So, it's all about at this point now trying to get ourselves righted and trying to figure out if we can actually be the kind of football program we've been in the past. And, at this point right now, Lynchburg is just happening to be I hope in a bad spot coming in here because of the fact that we like to, really try to put the pedal to the metal. But at the same time, what we really need to do is we really need to try to see if we can gather some confidence for ourselves.
Coach, in closing, the MEAC is competitive every game, and there's only a few opportunities there. Just talk about winning and the opportunity to do what you guys do and defend that title.
I've told our guys that we can win the rest of our games. We can win out. I said, but now we can lose out too. All of the teams that we'll play, even Lynchburg was up on Savannah State this past weekend, and has shown signs of really becoming a much better football program. Everybody that comes on here each week to talk about playing them, talk about how much improved they are. And then in our league, everybody that we played within a score last year. So it wasn't like, we dominate the league in any shape, form, or fashion. So our guys know that they've got to play hard all the time, and we've got to improve a lot. These guys, will wipe us off the map.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
Thank you, James.
Lute Williams.
Good morning, Coach Pugh. How are you?
Hey, Lute, how are you?
I'm doing fine, man. Coach, talk to me about Shaq Davis. James tried to get you to talk about him, but talk about him as the kind of potential he has. How much has he played out his potential? I mean, at 6'5", you don't get guys like him very often. I know he gets a lot of attention from whoever you're playing, but talk about him as a person and what his chances are going forward to just get better than he is already.
Well, I think he's improving, as he gets more experienced. Shaq's a big body guy who sometimes is trying to develop the ability to actually control that big body. He can run like the wind. You see some plays that make you sometimes say, woo, man, this guy here, man, he's something really special. And then you see, situations where, he's, kind of a pup still, So, we looking at I guess maybe a great one in process. I think it's a working process in a way where, I think he's going to be the next big time guy out there from South Carolina State. But at the same time, you never know the maturity factor, the strength and conditioning, all the different kinds of things that go into whether you can actually compete at the next level, will come into play as to whether or not I think he's got a shot to be really special, Luke.
Charlie Brown special?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Charlie was a little different animal. He was a doggone tough guy, who wasn't very big. They from the same neck of the woods. I can tell you what Shaq wants it, I think, at that part for sure. And Charlie had probably less of an opportunity to develop than Shaq did, because we threw the ball once every now and then when Charlie was here. People had no idea that we had receivers like that on our team when he was playing. So the fact that Shaq's actually had the availability of a little different style of pass offense, probably gives him a chance to be maybe that kind of player, maybe a little bit better.
How much deja vu, Coach? 1-4. I think this is where you were last year.
Yeah, well, listen, you got to take advantage of this deal to give yourself a chance to see the light at the end of the tunnel out there. It's out there. It's just so far until you got to make sure that you make them aware that we've been this way before. So hopefully it'll come back to fruition a little bit, but I'm concerned we're not playing quite as good as I think we ought to be able to play at this point, and I'm concerned. Okay.
Good luck, Coach. Thanks.
Thank you, Luke. Appreciate you.
Mr. Foreman.
Coach Pugh, Skip Foreman from HBCU Game Day. Good morning.
Hey, Skip, how you?
Doing fine, sir. Still
long time no see.
I know, really. I'm still hungry too. So anyway, Virginia Lynchburg, at least to me, they're a roller coaster team. They've played well on occasion this season. Some days not so much. How do you prepare for a team that you don't know what you're going to get till you get there?
Yeah. I think, Skip, you prepare us for what we may have not only this week but down the road a piece. This is kind of a preseason game going into the conference. And we need to make sure that we find some sort of semblance of an attack that we can depend on, that we can consistently go out and kind of use as a foundation for the rest of the year that way. So, Virginia and Lynchburg is exactly what we need at this point. Now, whether or not they can be more of a tussle than we probably need at this point, that's a possibility. But I can tell you that we are vulnerable and we need to find a way to get ourselves going again. And I'm hoping this is our opportunity.
Not not to make a pun of it, but do you need a dogfight in this game, or do you need to really flex your muscles and put them in the rearview mirror?
We need to flex our muscles, but you know what? You can't go into a game looking to get a muscle flexor, because you end up in a dogfight, and the last thing you want to be is prepared for a doggone easy one, and you end up in a tough one. So you better get yourself prepared for these guys to come in here and fight us to the very end.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate last weekend and look forward to seeing you again.
Appreciate you, Skip. Stop by sometime.
Will do.
All right, Coach Few, those are all the questions we have for you. Thank you for your time and good luck on Saturday.
Thanks, Karen. Look forward to it.
All right, take care. South Carolina State celebrates homecoming on Saturday when the Bulldogs host the Dragons of Virginia Lynchburg. Kickoff is set for 1:30 p.m. and the game will air live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. Last but not least, we will talk to Morgan State head coach, Coach Damon Wilson. Good morning, Coach Wilson. How are you?
I'm great, Karen. How are you?
Doing well. Can you give us a recap of Saturday's game against Norfolk State?
Yes. Norfolk State came in ready to play ball, and we didn't wake up till halftime. It was homecoming, a lot of festivities going on over the week, and we didn't do a good job coming back as a team after a win, to take care of business on Saturday. Norfolk State was well prepared, and Coach Odom's had his guys playing at a high level, and we didn't wake up to really play ball into the second half.
All right, Coach. What can we expect from the Bears on Thursday, as you guys have a short week to prepare for North Carolina Central?
I'm just getting off the field now, and we got work to do. North Carolina Central is a very good football program. They had a bye this past week, so I'm quite sure Coach had an opportunity to get some rest from his guys, and they'll probably, they'll be hitting on all cylinders. So it's important for us to match the intensity on a Thursday night, represent our university and conference well.
Awesome, Coach. Those are the questions I have for you. We'll now turn to the media, beginning with Chris Clark.
Hello, Coach Wilson. Chris Clark, CBS 17 in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hope all's well with you today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I was going to ask you to give us a little breakdown on the problems that one Davius Richard might cause. Leading passer, leading rusher, that's a dual threat that I know nobody wants to deal with. How are you all planning, without giving the game plan away, of course, to deal with someone like that, Coach?
Yeah, he's a very special player. We have to try to make him one-dimensional. We can't let him come in the game and do everything he likes to do. He has the ability, as you said, to run the ball and has a tremendous amount of arm talent. But if we play sound defense, we'll give ourselves an opportunity to be successful.
And I want to also ask you about that NC Central offensive line. You're talking about guys go by 3 bills now. There are no Sandy McDonald and there's no Lee Davises up there, but they got quite a few guys up there that can plow the way. What's your take on them? Because so far they've been holding their own against much bigger teams.
Indeed, those guys play well together. I believe they've been together for a few years now, and those guys definitely are physical in the run game. And our D-line must match the intensity. It's going to be a physical game, and if in order for us to have a chance, we must be physical at the point of attack, offensive line and defensive line. But those guys are athletic. They do a good job in pass protection. They understand their responsibilities, picking up pressures and that sort of thing. So we got our work cut out for us this week.
And the last question I have here before I turn it over is their defensive line too. They've been able to apply pressure. They showed a lot of that the first 4 games where they stumbled a bit against Campbell, which was a squad that had the #1 FCS recruiting class. And just to drop one more name, I don't see any Mike Coxes or Shamal Fosters on that squad there, Coach. But I do see some guys that can create some problems for you. What do you see?
Without a doubt, I'm glad Mike Cox and Shamar aren't playing. But I wish they were playing at this point because they're over 40 years old. But North Carolina Central has a very, very stout defensive line. They do a good job with movement and those sort of things. And their linebackers play well off one another. So like I said, we have to hit on all cylinders to have a shot. It's a very short week of practice for us. So, we must stay football focused throughout the week and show up and rally ready to play.
I could have one more, and then I promise I'll leave it alone. Mr. Hill, I'll let you have it. How tough is that? Do you concentrate on the players, or do you go over the fundamentals with your guys on a short week like this to come down here on Thursday?
More so on our rules and our responsibilities. We're going to look at the players, so I want them to have an idea of who they're going against and some of the guys' tendencies. But our rules should get us in and out of every situation if we've done a good job coaching. So we want to pay attention to our rules. Every week this year thus far has been a different challenge for us. So, it's no same thing back-to-back weeks. A lot of guys are doing different things defensively as well as offensively. So you just want to focus on your rules and hopefully they get you through.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Ralph Gaston, Gooch Gaston says hi, and from one Bowie State grad to another, best of luck.
I appreciate you, brother.
James Hill.
Coach Wilson, I hope you and the fellas are well. Can you talk a little bit about continuing to build your program, put your stamp on this ball club, and again, it's moving forward and doing things to win games?
But I think this is another step, another part of that process. We were coming off of 2 back-to-back wins and something that hadn't been done in a couple of years here. And it's something that we have to understand that it's a week-to-week deal. It's a day-to-day deal. And I don't know if we just thought Norfolk State was going to come in and lay down for us or what the thought process was. Because I thought we had a good week of practice, but apparently we weren't ready to play that first half of football. In order for a team to turn it on like we did during the second half, it showed our guys that we have the ability to play. So that's not the question. It's more so the mental piece of it now that we must understand what's needed on a daily basis in order to continue to move forward. And this is going to tell a lot about our club as well. We're coming off a disappointing homecoming loss. Now you're pretty much playing one of the best teams in FCS football. How are you going to respond? So I'm going to find out a lot about the character of my ball club this week. And, I look forward to it.
Mr. Baker, Mr. Graham, and Mr. Wilkins, just talk about the big three and, passing it around and running it and just being successful.
Those guys are special. Those guys are still becoming more comfortable with each other each week we play. Alfonso had a great statistical game this past week, but he also saw a lot of the reads he missed. He left a lot of yards on the field. Carson had some overthrows and some areas that he could improve on. So, but once again, those three guys are definitely the backbone of our offense. And in order for us to have success on Saturday, they must play at a high level.
Coach, when you have a shorter week and you have to play a Thursday night game as opposed to a Saturday, and it looks like there's 2 or 3 days missing in the process in between, just talk about the short week and again, prepping and getting down to business, so to speak.
I mean, we had to pretty much go right to work on Sunday. Typically Sunday is our lift day and film day. We pretty much had to try to get everything in on Sunday to introduce North Carolina Central to the guys. Of course, like I said, we were on the field this morning. Monday is normally our off day. So we just moved everything up a day, if that makes sense. So we'll have practice tomorrow and we'll hit the road Wednesday and we'll get down to Durham. We have another practice in and, be ready to roll Thursday night.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Cavill.
Yes, this is Kenyatta, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC Sports Lab. Coach Wilson, you talked about finding the framework of your team as you're coming in the first year coach. What have you learned over the years that you look for to try to find out a mindset, or do you just have to wait for game time after such a thrilling game for the fans, but a tough loss for everybody that's invested and involved? What takes place on the field?
I think what I try to do as a head coach is put my team in bad situations during camp, during practice, to see how they respond to adversity. And one thing that happened this past week, man, they responded. We were down, I think 17-0 or something. We scored late in the first half, at the last play of the first half. And then we were down late in the fourth quarter. And Alfonso Graham took the ball 50 or 60 yards, whatever it was. And we had to go ahead. That was a go-ahead score. It's less than 2 minutes in the ball game. And I saw my guys once again get complacent. They thought it was over. They celebrated it. We still got to go out and have a stop. We ended up kicking the ball off, had a 15-yard penalty on the kickoff, which gave them even better field position. So they had to march maybe 60 yards down the field versus 80. And those are the types of lessons that you hate to experience. But at the end of the day, I think it'll make us a better ball club and get us to understand we can never be too high or too low in this game because the game is pure, and you can't cheat the process. So those are things that we talked about on Sunday. They saw it, they acknowledged it, and hopefully we've learned from it.
In your experience, does it help that you're coming back with the matchup playing a team that looks to be at the top of the conference, playing pretty well, at least in terms of the record 4-1? Does it help coming into a matchup like that? And obviously, what is the challenge of them having an open week and you having a short week with the Thursday night game?
I don't know if it helps. I mean, I don't know if it's helped with the short week and the team that's sitting at the top. It may help our guys from a mental standpoint coming into the game. We're playing against the best in the conference right now. Right. They have the best record in the conference, and we're playing against the best. We just played against a team that at the time didn't have the best record in the conference. And we saw our mental approach to that game wasn't where it needed to be. So hopefully, the 4-1 record gets these guys' attention as well as the film, because it's obvious on film that these guys can play. And with the short week, it's part of the overall deal, man. We knew our schedule at the beginning of the year, and we understood we were going to be coming off of a game and playing on Thursday. And the plays are in. Now it's just a matter of guys being ready to rock and roll when that ball is kicked off on Thursday.
Final question I have for you is about your team. Alfonso Graham, 203 yards, 23 carries. Obviously in the loss, he was really impactful, been strong this season in terms of his overall play. Can you talk a little bit about what have you learned about this kid in the short stint that you've been with him?
This is a tough kid. This is a kid that we I recruited out of high school when I was at my last spot. So I had some knowledge of him. And one thing, he had made the JUCO stop. Then he came here to Morgan, and we've just been challenging him mentally. He's gifted athletically. We've been challenging him mentally and having him do all the little things right. And he was probably, if not the first, at least the second guy to know the whole offense when we installed this camp. He's right underneath the quarterback as far as putting the time in and understanding the concepts. He's a guy that we can move around. But I know when that ball is kicked off, he's going to be ready to play. He's tough as nails, a smart football player. And we're just going to continue to work on his overall game to hopefully give him an opportunity to continue to play after college.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to this matchup.
Yes, sir, Doc. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, Coach Wilson, those are all the questions we have for you. Thank you so much for your time and being here with us. And good luck on Thursday. Good luck on Thursday.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Take care. The Bears travel to Durham, North Carolina for a MEAC matchup against the Eagles of North Carolina Central. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. on Thursday, and the game can be seen live on ESPN2. In closing, we'd like to conclude this press conference today, but before we do, as always, we'd love to thank the media members who came today live and those who watch on the MEAC Digital Network on YouTube. We really appreciate you all. We'd also like to thank our corporate partners. Our next call will be next Monday, October 17th at 10 a.m. And as always, for up-to-date news on MEAC football and other sponsored sports, log on to MEACsports.com. Follow the MEAC on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, TikTok, and the MEAC Digital Network on YouTube as well at MEAC Sports. Once again, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Have a great football week, and we'll see you next week.